What's a secret you'll never tell your spouse or significant other? I'd like to apologize in advance for the audio quality today. My recording studio is currently my car as I'm hanging out at my friend's place for the weekend because it's Canada Day weekend and there's some cool stuff going on where they live. So, let's hop to it. Story 1. That her mother was interfering in our marriage constantly. I had an appointment with a lawyer to talk over options for divorce because I just couldn't stand it anymore. Then her mother passed suddenly because of a heart attack. After the funeral, things got a lot better, and we are now married for 3 decades. She doesn't need to know. Story 2. Early on in our relationship, I made breakfast for my then-girlfriend and her kids using some pancake mix that she had in the pantry. After making the pancakes and serving it to them, I went to mix up a little more to make mine. It was then I realized that there were some maggots in the dry mix. They were pretty much done eating, and telling me how good they were. I decided that ignorance was better than telling them, taking that one to my grave. Story 3. Remember when we were engaged and visited your mom in the hospital, and she let a fart so rank that your eyes watered, and we still talk about it 20 years later? Yeah, that was me. When my husband and I were newly dating, we took a trip to Orlando to visit my sister and went to Universal Studios. We were in line for the Mummy ride, and the line is indoors in like a fakey cave-in type of thing. Anyway, someone farted and it was rank AF. Everyone around us in the line was talking about it. We finally get to the front of the line and get on the ride, and right before it takes off, he looks at me and goes, "It was me that farted." Story 4. The reason I lost my Rock Johnson that one time in '69, and I don't mean the year, was because a piece of toilet paper fell in my eye from your butt. Edit. Oh lord, my first platinum is about toilet paper falling in my eye. Well, to add some details, we do have a bidet. The TP was probably from the paper she used to dry herself after the bidet, so thankfully no pink eye for me. We have been together now for 13 years and have been married for almost 2. If ever there was a test of strength in a relationship, that sounds like it. Story 5. How we really met. He thinks a mutual friend decided to play matchmaker, which is true, but not the full picture. A friend of mine sent screenshots of my SO's dating app profile saying, "I've just found your future husband." Some light Googling led me to discover that we shared a mutual friend. I spoke to him and he played matchmaker. 6 years later, I'm never telling him that I basically stalked him first. Story 6. Every paycheck, I take out $25 to $30 in small bills and slip some into her pockets while I'm folding laundry. Money is tight, and it's a source of a lot of anxiety for her, so to see how excited and relieved she gets when she finds that little bit of cash means the world to me. I do similar things. I earn more, but she refuses to do a reasonable split on the bills, and wants 50-50 even though 50% of the bills is 80% of her income, and only about 25% of mine. So, every week when she tops up the gas, I secretly add £5 on between her top-ups, so she thinks that we're using less. Same with tobacco. I buy an extra pouch and keep filtering handfuls into her bag. We do a strict food budget, but after work, I top up some things I know she dreads running out of, like wash tablets and sponges. She either knows and understands why I'm doing it, or just thinks we've somehow started using less of everything. I also put loose change in her purse. Not much, £2 or £3 every day, and she gets really happy about it. She also has money tins that you can't open where she saves for things. I'm pretty sure over 50% of the money in is what I've put in. Story 7. I saw a call on the display that the jewelry store was calling. I let him answer it. He immediately left to run an errand and came home and took me out skating, where he romantically proposed on a frozen pond under a floodlight on a February evening. We will be married 20 years this year. I can't tell him I knew the whole time. I just can't. We had gone a few weeks before to pick the ring out, and we had talked in depth about getting engaged. So it wasn't a complete surprise, but he did want his proposal to be a surprise, and it really was special, even though I knew. Story 8. I sleep better alone than with her, and she loves sharing a bed. I haven't told her, but I believe she suspects it, because she's been making suggestions such as sleeping more at my place. Usually we pick 2 single-person mattresses and put them together on the floor. We have separate blankets, cause I'm really sensitive to heat and hardly feel the cold. Whereas her, it's the opposite. She feels cold all the time, sometimes even when I'm hot. So compromising a room temperature is often really complex, especially since she sleeps poorly when I turn the fan on. I imagine we'll have to discuss it eventually, but just not for now. Story 9. That I pooped in the ocean while snorkeling off of Hawaii, and that was the reason that all those beautiful fish began swarming around us all of a sudden. Bon appetit, dear fish. Yes, indeed, it was magical. I love that. Oh my god. Life tip there, eh? Jeez. Story 10. The one time that I thought I locked my keys in the car. They were in my pocket. And I figured this out halfway through, but decided to keep the secret to myself. Sometimes I detach the ignition key off my huge keychain to make it easier, and this one time I peeked through my car window and saw the keychain and didn't even think to check my pockets, just assumed I left all my keys in the car that was locked. We had to walk 2 miles to her friend's job up a hill in super cold, windy conditions, in basically flip-flops and just completely not weather-appropriate clothing. Then we got a super awkward drive to her house from her friend, and then had to drive 30 minutes back to my house, get my spare keys, go back, give the other dude some gas money. It took us like 2 hours, and we were both exhausted and wanting to go home at the start of it, and then I had to, of course, drive back and drop her off, then get gas, then go home. I don't even think that's really that bad. It sounds like a fun story to laugh together at a year or two after it happened. Obviously, you wouldn't want to say that the next day. Hey, babe, guess what? I found my keys in my pocket halfway through. No, that's stupid. But, like, if you can't tell your partner that a year out, hey, remember that one time that this happened? Yeah, actually, I had the keys the whole time, apparently, and I'm stupid. If you can't laugh at yourself and they can't laugh with you, I mean, I think you've got the wrong partner. Reminds me of what I did. My best friend and I just turned 18 and decided to visit the adult store 30 minutes away out in the middle of nowhere. Like, nothing else around it, and no way to say that we were going somewhere else. We get done browsing and head back to the car when I realize I don't have my keys. They're sitting there in the driver's seat. We finally decide to call my mom. I'm embarrassed as hell and have to tell her where we're at. Few minutes before she pulls up, I'm thinking, let me check the passenger door, just to see, just in case. And it f***ing opens. This is going to be a shorter one because it's Canada Day weekend, so we're going to hop straight into the rapid fire segment for this video, for stories too short to make a full entry out of, but too good to be left out. So let's jump right in so that I can go watch a bunch of people race farm equipment. That I farted, and him checking the entire house as well as asking the neighbors if they smelled anything because he thought it could be a gas leak was a waste of time. That emotionally and sexually charged night we spent sharing a bed, drinking, and talking all night, I didn't keep getting up to pee. I kept getting up to have intense diarrhea. That one time we went camping for 3 nights, I left the garden hose on at home full blast, and we got a $700 water bill. That I chipped our wonderful granite quartz counter and filled it with white putty. I ate the last Reese's peanut butter egg and blamed it on one of the kids. I failed school. I had to take a basic education course before getting into uni, and that it took me 8 years to graduate from a 3-year degree. I had a super embarrassing middle school obsessive crush on him when I first met him. That those pants did actually make her butt look big. How much I've spent setting up this saltwater fish tank. She called me crazy for spending $1,000 on lights. Little does she know. They didn't forget to buy them at the grocery store. I, in fact, at 2 a.m. ate the entire package of Oreos. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and that the audio quality wasn't too bad. I'm recording in both my car and my friend's room for this video, so it's probably not the most consistent quality. Now I'm off to go watch a bunch of crazy Canadian rednecks take farm equipment and race it on a baseball diamond. I'll make sure to post a video in here because I'm not going to be able to edit this in time to catch those, so it's going to be kind of a back and forth. Either way, my name is ReddList. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.
Oh, what? Oh!